Second Nature for Children is in the house. How you doing, Coach?
As always, man, great. Now,
I'm doing absolutely great. Before we even get started, I'd like for family to come in, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and make sure you share this information and make sure that you go back and look at all the content that Second Nature for Children has put out, guaranteeing that it's something that has been shared with you that can help you or either a family member or a friend or someone you know. So make sure, Facebook family, you go over to YouTube as well and subscribe. Like I said, when we're putting this truth out, there's no reason for this channel, us using this platform, that we shouldn't be going viral on certain things that'll help us in the Black community. But there's a lot of work to do with us as a people. So we just got to keep grinding. We will keep grinding because I really do it, Coach, for the children. That's who I deal with every day. And if you want to see our work, my work that I do with the children, there's our website information and, of course, our Facebook page, Second Nature for Children. And you could check us out and see the work that we're doing in the community with the youth. And really just coming on this platform since it's here to share information with us as adults, to work to try to pull us together as a people. Because unless we come together as a people, we will never, ever move forward. And I remember back a while before we get started, we're going to talk about have self-destruction become normal in the Black community. Have self-destruction become normal in the Black community. But Coach, before we go there just for a second, I can remember us talking about having hope. And I love doing this show because a lot of people ask me why this happened, why that happened, why this happened, and why that happened. And I was just telling a guy the other day, anything you ask me concerning the Black community, I have an answer for you. And I can explain to you why certain things happen. And so I remember back a while ago, you were saying that you hope that things could, I let you put it in your words when you use the word hope for the community. What were you sharing with us about you hope?
Do you remember? Basically, I hope that at some point in time, we can get it together, first and foremost with ourselves, and then understand how valuable we are collectively, in terms of moving forward. And it's coming a time, and I bet everything I have on that, it's coming a time where we'll be forced to get to that point. The writing is on the wall. Let me just say it like that. Economically and all, the writing's on the wall, man. Okay. We're going to have to link up. We have to. Not too many people will be able to exist on their own. They will have to link up. I'm just saying that. That's real. Yeah.
When you look at, I would say from 45 years up, from the age of 45 and up, do you think that there is any hope in that age group from 45 and up? Do you think that there's any hope?
Being an optimist, I have to say yes.
Okay.
I have to say yes because anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like I said, a person can be forced to switch overnight. Circumstances could change you from how you used to think before you had no choice. So yeah, as an optimist, I have to say that. Realistically, how it looks in the landscape right now doesn't look good. But I'm still holding on to that optimistic side. Would say, yeah, man, it can turn around.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I was just thinking about that because I'm thinking about the children, and I'm thinking about if us as a people, that 45, and I just use that 45 on up, if we don't begin to make a difference or make some type of change, I don't see where if we don't make change, there's any hope. I don't see it. I don't see it. Unless we do something now to help our youth, I don't see it. Because when you look at, I don't know how broad people look, but in the areas that I deal with, in the broad thinking that I have, and let's just take certain cities. You know, we hearing about a lot of killings and what just happened in Memphis, and we got Chicago, and we have New York. A lot of times when you got Washington, you got a lot of cities where a lot of people, and even right here in Atlanta, where a lot of people are not thinking about how the youth is living in the streets and not being a part of the system that is set up. They're out there to make their own way. And that's why drugs and gang violence and things are so prevalent right now, because we have a group of young people now that's growing up that's not connected to the system. They're not trying to do things the way that the system have it set up. See, that 45, especially that 50-year-old on up, that's a different mindset that's coming from a grandmama and a big mama through generation of times that has put a certain passive, submissive type of spirit and a mindset. But now this younger generation that's coming up, they don't have that. They don't care nothing about your God. They don't care nothing about your belief. They have tapped into reality of they see these things and they want these things now. And unless we come together as a group to catch them while they're young, to let them know that there is another way to go, I don't see, unless there's a change in us up here, I don't see no hope for our little ones, because we're losing them, and things are just crazy with them right now. And unless we come in to help them, I don't see any hope. Definitely no time soon. And I say it like this right here: if there is no change, then there is no hope. What you say about that?
Well, I guess I'm holding on to my sliver of hope in terms of we being forced to come together, right? Like
Okay.
I said, man, it's on a day as you, if you're an observant person, if you're looking at finances, economics, in that one aspect, people are being forced to come together. You'll have to, because you can't sustain on your own. I don't care. In some places, if you work 2 full-time jobs, you cannot afford to be single. You can't afford it. So I'm saying, because of the economic side, and then when you throw in what you're making, I'm talking about what's going on out of your control with the prices, right? And then you combine that with what you make and not enough. You have no choice to coexist with someone else. You might not like that person, but y'all can put them differences aside so you can have this roof over your head. Like I said, too many tents out there, man. It's too many tents out there in the street, man. It's too cold out there, and that's real. You know, that's real. And it seems like the population is growing outside, man. So, and that's where, like I said, that's where my hope stands, because we'll be forced to do that. We won't have a choice.
I definitely understand what you're saying, and then I see it from it getting to a certain point, like you're saying, where we would have to be forced to come together, forced to do something. But then I see it coming to the point that when we're forced to, it gets even worse. Instead of us coming together, I see us even coming more apart, because we got to learn first how to come together. We don't even know how to come together. So I can see when things begin to get worse, as they are getting, especially when you start talking about economics, where we're not going to be able to afford this or afford that, then I don't see us saying, okay, well, especially the youth. Now I'm talking about the youth as well. I don't see them saying, well, you know what? We got to start coming together because things are getting a little tight. I can see them even more killings, even more backstabbing, even more, because it's not all of a sudden something happened, bam, we all come together, we're gonna start doing the right thing. I can see it getting even worse. And so I hope that, we have the time to live our next 50 years so we can watch it together. But I don't see no time soon, unless we come together, begin to organize, and begin to help our youth. Because I don't see this mindset of young kids that we have coming together under a system. It has to be outside of the system. And most of us as adults, we are more controlled within a system. That's why right now I have a nonprofit organization where people can go investigate, check it out, say, look what he's doing. I don't know. I'm not supporting any youth organization. I'm not supporting anybody right now. So at least if I see he's out there grinding, I need to support that organization. And even if it's not second nature for children, if it's someone in your community that you see doing grassroots work with children, and you investigate them, because one thing, we're easy to be fooled as people, so don't let nobody fool you. Do your investigation. But if you see where you can come in and be a part of doing something great to help our youth, we need to do that. And I don't see us doing that. And the children are not all of a sudden themselves, I don't see all of a sudden themselves saying, boom, let's get together, let's make things better. Man, that have to be taught. That have to be taught. And they're more into social media. Social media is not teaching that. Social media is conquering and dividing, because when you look at it, all you have to do is, like you say, observe social media, and social media will let you know where we're going, where our interests, what moves us, whether we hoping this or not. Reality, by looking at social media, it shows us where we're headed to, what our people are more gravitating toward, how our young people are killing each other. They're very uneducated. When you go into a lot of the school districts and the schools centers where our children are in low income areas, man, our children are not doing well. So I understand when you say something is going to force us, but then what happens a lot of times, as soon as something happened to one of us, we come together for a good week and tear a city up, and then we just go right back to our old ways. So I just had that on my mind. I want to just share that a little bit with you, just see that you see anything different. But right now, I hear you. I still say, if we don't come together as a people now, unless there's a change, there is no hope. And it's sad, but reality is real. So let's do this right here, Coach, so you can share it. Have self-destruction become normal in the Black community? And first, I will go on and answer it, do a little bit. I'm gonna let you share it, Coach. But I would definitely have to say, yes, self-destruction has become normal in the Black community. And what I like to do is take certain words, break them down, so we'll have a reference. So when we take destruction, we're just simply talking about the act of destroying. When we're talking about destroy, we'll use the definition to go with what we're talking about. To deprive of life, to kill, to counteract the effects of. Deprive means to keep from having or doing. Counteract, to act against. So let's just remember those definitions of those words. And I love the mind, the body, the soul, because everyone who lives within this universe has to deal with those three areas. And once you're disconnected from those three areas, you are not going to do well in life. And that's why I'm coming on, sharing with the family, and definitely working with children to build a base and a foundation to let you know that everything you deal with in your life, if you want to move forward, if you want to be successful, wherever it is in life to achieve, you have to make sure that you balance these three areas off. And if you're off balance, something will burst in your life, and that's not good. So when we are talking about the physical of self-destructing, we self-destruct literally from eating. Of course, you know we eating too much. Are we eating a lot of the wrong things? We self-destruct literally from excessive drinking of alcohol, smoking. And there's a lot of different things that has just become normal to us in the Black community that we're uneducated about, or maybe we have heard of, but we just haven't tapped into. But listen, family, eventually, here's a fact. And that's what I love about you and I coming on. And when I come on, I love to do more facts. If it's a belief, I'll let you know if it's an opinion. But I love facts. I love facts. And that's why I had one young lady, Miss Till, was telling me, you know, it's crickets a lot of times when I speak, because there is nothing to come back with when you come with facts. And so I appreciate her as well. So, but eventually, unhealthy eating will destroy you. Eventually, a lot of us are experiencing it as we're growing older right now. It will bring on different health issues. And once you become overweight or obese over a period of time, it's definitely, here's a fact, it's gonna break you down. It's gonna break your body down. And then it's gonna be begin to have bad effects on your lower extremities of your body. That's why when you notice, just notice, and all you have to do, we don't even have to pull numbers up on everything. All we have to do sometimes is just observe. As we see our parents or aunties or uncles or just people getting older, just observe that if they're overweight or obese, how they're having a lot of knee problems, a lot of hip problems,
Yep.
ankle problems, feet problems, Achilles. So what I'm trying to tell the younger people, before these things even happen, then there's a way to prevent these things from happening to you. And that's by taking care of yourself. And we already understand, I can already went on another video dealing with the different health issues that unhealthy eating brings onto your life. So there's a fact that if you're not eating well, and as you're getting older, learning how to change your diet, and if you're going to carry a lot of weight for a long period of time, there's a fact that it's going to break your body down and it's going to kill you sooner than later. That's a fact. We got to wake up to that. Excessive drinking. Oh my God. There's your liver, there's your kidney, and you can study yourself and see how alcohol affects the brain. You want to know what's going on in your life. If you're drinking too much alcohol and you don't realize, you're literally killing yourself. Go back up to the definitions that I put out. You just really depriving yourself of life, because as you picking up this weight, it's certain things as you get older you will not be able to do. You won't be able to enjoy yourself. Just won't happen. You counteracting against the things that you should be doing. Killing yourself, family. If you're drinking excessively, if you need to get some help, get some help. Your liver, your kidney, your brain, you're killing yourself. If you're smoking too much, once again, you're killing your lungs. We're just simply self-destructing. We're not thinking about it, and it just has become normal. Even when you're smoking, you're killing your brain. So we got to wake up, family. Coach, you go in.
Just let you know, it's up a little bit just now, but it's straight now.
Okay.
I coming from a different angle, man. What burns me up? This is what burns me up. When I look online, go online, just scrolling through some stuff, trying to gather information, and you see a Black man going against another Black man. You know, and I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about the verbally, you know, going in. It burns me up when I see a black man going against a black woman and vice versa. You know, it burns me up when I see a black woman going against a black woman. It's like there was a time before the grown folks moved differently. If they have an issue with each other, they handle it, you know what I mean, in house and private. Now everything is supposedly entertainment slash clicks slash whatever. But if you are increasing your likes or what have you with this kind of behavior, what kind of example, we talking about kids, what kind of example you setting for the kids? So you think your behavior don't affect all of us? Because if we all look alike per se, you know what I mean? If we, look alike, then don't you think we all would be looked upon the same way as people are looking upon you? Why would you want to deal? I wouldn't want to deal with anybody moving like that, even though they look like me, because I don't need them problems. You know, you might take it to a certain point. I might take it further than I should have. Hence, I'm in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part when I talk about self-destruction. I don't like that. And even though it might be minute, it's still a microcosm of a macrocosm because we're judged by what few of us are doing, period. I don't care what they say. Most of us are judged by what a few of us are doing. And until we prove that we're not like that, you know what I mean? It can be personal relationship, it could be business, it could be what have you. You know what I mean? So that's part I don't like that. And like I talked about before, because of how things are, we have no choice but to come together. Now, will we sustain when we come together? I think some of us will. The ones that have clarity, that understand what's going on, that this is in their best interest, I think they'll persevere. But the ones that have no clue, hey man. So that's how I see that.
Well,
We got to be careful how we moving. You know, we got to be careful how we moving, man. If you got a problem with somebody, man, and in some cases they actually used to be in touch with each other, or you can find a way to be in touch, man, come on, kill that noise, man. Come on, man. We better than that. We better than that, man. So yeah, I come from that aspect, man. So to answer the question, yeah, and it's become normal. It really has become normal. It's like, come on, man, really? Yeah, but it's become normal. Yeah.
Well, I definitely agree and concur with that. That especially in a lot of the communities that I be in, where revenge is a big thing. You know, right? Where revenge is a big thing, and we conflicting with each other, and it has definitely become normal. I got to get him back. I got to get her back. Men and men arguing, like you said, we just going at it with each other. You understand? And a lot of times I'm dealing in the community where there's a lot of disturbed people, in one bucket. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so it
Yeah.
is so and then that is dealing with the mental aspects of the community. And like I said, we have different communities, and mostly I'm in a community what they would call the low income community, working with those people and those kids. And we deal with a lot of issues that we never address. And we wonder why certain things are happening in our lives. And when we let it go on for a long period of time, it just becomes normal. And once, as adults, we are acting a certain way, then the children begin to watch us, and then it becomes normal to them because this is what they've been watching, this is what they've been seeing all the time. And so even bad behavior, bad relationships, a child, either they saw it growing up, you know, uh, over time being abused, and these are things that has become normal in the Black community. And so we are definitely self-destructing. And then a lot of us don't even realize that we are dealing with mental disorders and mental issues and mental illness because our behavior and the way we're acting has just become so normal till we don't even realize something is wrong. And if you mess around and tell one of us that we need to get some help, man, you better have your 38, your 9, whatever you told me, you better have it on you because we can't hear you telling me something. In other words, when you're trying to help someone, all they hear is you calling me crazy. You understand what I'm saying? When you're trying to explain to someone that they need a little help mentally, they don't hear that. All they hear is, Negro, I know you're not calling me crazy. And then there go bumping heads right there. So it'll be a lot of issues in the Black community, and there's a lot of work because, like I say, everything starts from here. And a lot of us are not ready and not willing to make that change here. And like I say again, until there is a change, then there is no hope. And so that's why I put all of my time and my work into working with the youth. And so trying to work in certain communities, you can't even get people to come together. I don't care if they're part of the church. I don't care if they're part of the school. I don't care if they're part of the city council. I don't care what they're part of. And they're being your color. A lot of them are part of a system that when you're working outside of the system, then you can't get any help from them. So unless the revolutionary come together and say, you know what, we're gonna have to come together and let the system do their thing, but we're gonna have to come together and we're gonna have to do our thing. And that was the conflict so many years ago with Malcolm and Dr. King, you understand? You know, that's where they was conflicting because King was at a point, he was dealing more with the system, while Malcolm, and that's why the Nation of Islam kicked off so well, because they was coming together as a group to teach the Black man, this is how you take care of yourself instead of always depending on the system. So there's a lot of work to be done. You got anything you want to share, Coach?
I listened to you talking about coming together, man, and the projects came to mind. We're physically together in the projects all over the country, you know. And it ended up being a project for real, you know, because the powers that be, you had us all together, well, yeah, you can say 99% of us together, and we end up with backstabbing, biting each other. Most people, a lot of people, their goal was to get out. So I can see what you said, coming together, it could be more turmoil.
Yep, but so go ahead on.
No, so I'm saying, so if we didn't learn it from the past, man, and I'm talking about the adults, you know, then there's no learning then. There's no learning to be had if we didn't learn in the past. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I see exactly what you're saying. So when I'm talking about us coming together, I don't mean put a lot of us in the ghetto, like just putting us together. What I mean by us coming together is I'm talking about like-minded people who's ready to revolutionize and who's ready to take the youth, educate the youth on this system that we're in and how to make it, taking the minds that's in there, the one or two that's willing. See, first of all, we have to be willing to make that change. So when I say come together, absolutely, we're already together in that barrel. But now, myself, organizations have to go into that barrel to work with those groups in that barrel. So that's what I mean. So if I'm telling you that I'm conscious and I'm willing to do something to make a difference, I can't do it by myself. So I need other people. Here's the problem. I need other people who speaks of being conscious, who speaks of being a believer and a religious person, who speaks of the Black community. I need for us to come together. See, here's the different group. I'm talking about a group of so-called believers and conscious people to come together to go help another group that's in a certain place. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about.
I mean, I got what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not talking about us in that community. No,
what
they're not doing nothing. It's going to take people who talking about, I'm with Jesus, I'm with Allah, I'm with Hindu, I'm conscious, I'm willing to do this for the Black community. I'm a revolution. No, I'm talking about those folks coming together so that we can go help another group of people.
I got you.
Okay.
But I believe that they'll be so caught up with survival that they ain't had time for that, man. I'm talking about on the whole, conscious. I'm telling you, that's what I believe. Listen, man, one thing we don't control. Okay, we have the power economically, we don't control economics. We don't control economics, but we have the power
because we put our money
and because of how it's shifted. Exactly. So because of how it's shifted, it will determine how we flow, directly and indirectly. And that's the part I'm saying. Certain areas we just can't afford to be in, period. Mm-hmm. That's reality right now. And it's going to get worse later. So we'll be concentrated in certain areas because of our economic status. Okay? And because of that, like I said, you're going to have the emergence of, I guess you can call it an economic project. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Not too many people can afford a $400,000, $500,000 house right now, a $2,000 a month apartment. Come on, man. So the areas that are affordable would be, with a lot of people, look like us. Mm-hmm. And you have a remnants of a project again, but this time it's an economic project being forced on us. And like I said, and like you said, rather, you're looking for people already conscious to come in and help. Some might be able to, but I think a lot of them would be so caught up with their own survival. Man, I ain't got time with y'all. I'm trying to keep my head above water over here. Because the economic crunch, it doesn't pick and choose. It's either you have it or you don't. That's where we are right now. The have and the have-nots. Yeah, you still got a racism, you still got a ageism, you still got a sexism, but it's about the have and the have-nots. Because that gap between the have and the have-nots is constantly widening. It's constantly widening. You know what I mean? So that's why I say what I say.
Okay. And I would say this right here, that when I talk about the community, I'm talking about finding a spot. I don't mean a lot of times, and I mean, I go over in the community myself. I come from there, I go there. But I'm saying that in all, especially the low income communities, they need to find a spot and make sure that the people that's in a certain area have access to come to that spot for the ones who want to advance in life. So that's what I'm saying. Okay. That's what I'm saying. I don't mean, you ain't got to go over now. I'm saying in every community, especially the low income community, there's a church. Okay? That church
Okay.
should be offering. I don't mean for the church to go over into that community, but they got to put out some type of way to let the folks know this is what we have for you over here. So now it's up for you to travel over to us,
to come
because
get it.
now we'll begin to teach you. That's just like where we are now. I'm not over in the temp, but I'm right next to the temp. But they know in that whole district 9 and 10 that, hey, this is what Second Nature for Children is doing in this area. This is what he's offering us. And so if we want to be part of what he's doing, he can put it out here. He can put the flyers. He can knock on doors. But now it's up to the people, because everybody don't want help. But we're going to be here for the ones who want help. So that's what I mean when I say come together. So what I'm saying, if I have an organization, where are the people? Now we're here. I've had people that hit me from England, Romania. So I'm hearing people throughout the United States and throughout the world. So you telling me that throughout the United States and throughout the world, if they see what I'm doing right here, they can't investigate for all these people we're hitting. You telling me we don't have enough conscious people throughout the world to say, hey, we'll support that organization because we see your work. So that's what I wanted to show you. You can't tell me there's hope when it's hidden throughout the United States and hidden throughout the world, and we can't find people to help us with children. I don't see any hope no time soon. Coach, we got 2 minutes or so. I'm going to let you have it.
I gotta hold on to my sliver of hope, man. I gotta do that because and even on the text that as long as there's life, anything's possible, man. You know, I know that from a personal standpoint. And as long as there's life, anything's possible. But you have to be receptive. You know what I mean? You have to be open. You have to want better. Period. And if you don't want it, you're just not gonna get it. You know what I mean? As always, man, it all revolves around the same. You always talk about the mental, physical, you know, and the spiritual, but it revolves around the same. You got to be receptive. You got to want to do better, and you need to pay attention to what's going on around you. Not only what you control, but what you can't control. So you can pivot and move accordingly so you can not be a victim, but, you know, rise above the tide of whatever's coming. You know, it's rough, and signs are showing, man, it's going to get more rough. It's going to get more tough, period. You know, mess around, lose their job, and see what happens. A lot of people living paycheck to paycheck, man. So the battle now is more so economics. The battle is more so the have and the have-nots. You know what I mean? So we got to move accordingly, man, or we're going to find out the hard way, man.
Coach, I'm going to leave it right there. That's enough said right there. And I want to thank you again for such a powerful conversation and a great come together, man. So until we come together again, I appreciate you, Coach.
All right. I know it frees a couple of times, but you can check it and see.
I look at it. All right. Take care.
All right. You too, man.